And you know what? I think if parenting came with a module, a manual of life would be so much easier.
And a lot of people who have kids probably would not have children because they wouldn't want to do the work.
Definitely.
Good day, Alicia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is just going to be a casual conversation, nothing formal. We had just finished a program that you have facilitated today. Just for the interest of the viewers, can you just give us a brief description what it was about and the purpose thereof and what inspired you to do this?
Okay, well, I'll start with what inspired me. Youth, actually. I asked the youth, I have a series of programs that I've been doing, a 5-day program, but every month I meet with youth throughout the country, and I ask them, what subjects are important to you? What do you want to learn about? What are you trying to cope with? And how can I help you? So fear was one of those topics. So today we talked about conquering your fear. And I do it from 3 different perspectives. I do it from the philosophical perspective. I do it from the scientific perspective and also the spiritual perspective. So what are the approaches? What do they say about fear? And I also outlined 7 types of fear that we talked about today and gave either tools or ideas to help people overcome those fears. And then the last thing we finished up with was a fear worksheet or a fear plan. So they took one of the fears that is troubling them the most and answered a series of questions so they can have something accountable that they can actually do in the next week to help them face their fears.
Okay. And like I mentioned to you before we started, you covered a variety of topics, and for some of the statements that you made, I actually made a few notes, for the stuff that stood out to me. Like I mentioned to you, I'm also on that journey. I would say, in terms of self-discovery, I can say I have arrived. It's just now articulating that to the next person is the next challenge for me personally. Hence, I want to leave this disclaimer now for everything else that I say from here out forward. The kind of stuff that I will be highlighting, it's stuff that some people will consider very sensitive and controversial. And thus, I want to say, whatever I might say today, if it doesn't add any value to you, you don't have to accept it. And also, I would also request for you not to reject it outrightly, because all that I'm sharing with you, it's my perspective and how I experience life in my shoes. So what is truth for me might not be necessarily truth for the next person. So I just feel like I want to make that disclaimer because like you mentioned throughout your program and what you reference now as well, that you look at things and try to explain it with 3 different perspectives, which is the scientific one, the philosophy, and spiritual, right? And there is a need for this type of programs that you are doing, precisely because of where humanity or society's mindset is today. And based on my observation and from concept that I've learned, I've discovered that we have been programmed to have this particular mindset, which we have, which brings about this need for the type of programs you are offering. And I am of this belief that it is time for society to reprogram itself holistically and for us to function differently. And I would make an example, if I can use the economy as an example. We are having poverty today because poverty is built into the system of the economic system. Without poverty, the economy cannot function. And my view is how we trade and what we consider the economy to be is actually not following laws. Laws, when I speak about laws, is laws our creator designed this universe to operate on. Like the example I used earlier, if I take this a sheet of paper and I drop it, if I let it go, due to the law of gravity, it is going to fall 100% of the times. No matter what I say or you say or how we would like to argue, that is a fact that will be unchangeable, and none of us has the capacity to do that, right? So when I say society needs to reprogram the way we think and the way we interact, it should be following the laws that already exist, because society has created rules through churches, through institutions, through the school. We must, like example, to speak to the specific topic you highlighted today, fear. In school, fear was programmed into us that if you answer wrong here, you are a failure. You were not conditioned, okay, you found out now what is wrong. You will have an opportunity to fix it next time. So we look at fear as if I fear now, then it's finished. There's no coming back from that. So that is how we perceive fear today in society, right? So when I say society needs to function on laws, it speaks to, in terms of fear and how we experience fear, we will learn that fear is actually part of the process. Because like my life coach taught me, how do children learn to make decisions? The parent can advise as much as they want, but the child is only going to learn to make better decisions by making decisions. So if they make a poor decision, they have to suffer the consequences. Only when they suffer the consequences, then there's a learning opportunity for a learning experience. And if they make a positive decision with positive outcome, there's a learning experience as well, because naturally you would want to repeat something that is good for you, right? And that is where I say society needs to be reprogrammed in the way we function and in the way we perceive life. But I'm just gonna stick to that one for now and hear what you have to share on that before I get into the others.
Thank you very much for sharing your perspective. I agree with you wholeheartedly about, I would say it a little bit differently. Yeah. I believe that the current structure of economy is dependent upon keeping people in poverty, so that those who are at the top can thrive.